Hey, welcome to the year-end report for Broken Hammer Games and All Is Fair and Dust and Air and our Project 2 and everything that went on during the year of 2022. I'm the founder and CEO of company and do a lot of things, writer and various other stuff, so I'm pretty much involved in everything that goes on here for the production of our visual novels and other stuff that we do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. And yeah, 2022. It was eventful, very eventful. It was also tiring in many ways. I mean, we did get bogged down a bit with the ports and the frameworks during the first part of the year. Unfortunately, I mean, we did not expect that to be like that. We expected things to go a little bit faster, and it just didn't happen. Partially because we were battling with issues with the game engine, and things didn't get fixed until Strikeworks took over, and they took their engine back basically from the publisher. The publisher, New Media, went dark. Probably, I would say 2021 they started going dark. We didn't know anything until like mid 2022 this year that they were basically shuttering, and they had released all their products and stuff that they were publishing, and they sent them back to the companies that built them. So Strikeworks took over, and within probably I'd say about a month or two, they already kind of patched up some of the major problems with the Mac version, which allowed us to do Mac ports again. They also updated some of the frameworks, and yeah, just all together, they did an awesome job getting Tyranno functional again, to say the least. Sorry, I got a little bit in my throat right now. I was celebrating New Year's and things like that here. The one big news that really we did not expect going into at the end of the year was Project 2. Project 2, all of a sudden we found our background artist. And this was just a regular Facebook ad that I happened to see. I checked his work. I started talking with him, and he seemed like a really decent guy from the Philippines. And yeah, he's he does everything. You won't believe this. I didn't know this until I finally asked later, like how are you drawing these things? He does it on a phone, so he gets his little cell phone and he draws with a finger. Oh, that's all of his art. And you've seen some examples of his art in the blog. There's one image that he did that's all with a finger, all with a phone screen. Just really an amazing guy, and he's really looking to grow his art skills and really kind of he wants to try to be able to live off of his artist skills and keep growing and growing. So he's a young artist. He's fresh, getting up there into the world, and so we're happy to provide that for him, help him out, and of course the finances. I mean, Philippine money versus American money can go quite a bit further on U.S. dollars versus in the exchange rate and such. So what he's making, what we're paying him for, what we're having him do, is really helping his family and such. And there is more to that story. I don't know if I'm at liberty to discuss it though, but this suffice to say, yeah, it's a very big blessing, and the timing for him getting involved with us has been major. We're just really happy that this happened, and he's already moving on to Dust and Air work. That we have him kind of helping out on the cityscape, helping do some of the buildings, some of the stuff, like at least laying the skeletal structure. And then we're gonna have Khan, Georgie come in. They're gonna finish up the final on that. The month of December, we did actually have one. It was busy, despite. I mean, everybody had holiday stuff to do. We didn't expect to get a huge amount done. We did have one more major big background get done, and you'll see it in the blog, and you will also see it here in a moment. I'll go into that a little bit more before we close. But I just wanted to continue to get back onto this last year, 2020. How did we do? Did we meet expectations? Did we go above and beyond? I mean, overall, there's only so much we can be happy about, confident about, because we did have some great stuff for the end of the year. First part of the year was not that great. So I mean, it is what it is, and that's basically this is life of an indie game developer. This is moving from stormy season to stormy season, and hoping that you have a little bit of like storm-free seas in between all that at one point. Um, but yeah, pages turn and all this. I mean, we're very happy, and some of the major things that happened. There were some deaths that happened during the year, and there were some marriages as well. People, Georgie, we're very happy he's out of Russia, and he's been able to go almost full time on Dust and Air and stuff ever since he got out of Russia. And his wife's been very helpful on that and understanding. And yeah, as we go into 2023, we're basically looking more in line. Now we're kind of to the point where we're looking to close out the first chapter of Raven's Prayer. So going into 2023, it's now we got to consider, okay, what else do we have to build in? We have some music assets that are going to have to get done. We got to touch base with the music team going forward. They have been kind of on standby, waiting until we get to the point where we're going to be like, hey, okay, let's start pulling this in, getting this done. With the changes that have happened with Strikeworks and the game engine, it also is raising the question: do we want to revisit the DLC stuff? Are they going to do a patch that's going to make it a lot easier for us? We're putting requests in. We're keeping an eye on that, and we're hoping things are going to be changing with Tyranno going into 2023, and they're going to be updating the engine in a major way to make a lot of really awesome things possible. That could include the achievements too. I mean, this has been one request that we have been aware of is the achievements, and we did have a testing app getting it ready at one point, trying to test and see if we can get it to function. And we can make achievements, but it's just linking them with Steam and how that all works. That's been the issue, and we're just gonna probably have to wait until there's an update from Tyranno and see if they have any sort of possible changes on that to say, okay, yeah, you can add achievements and this will link to Steam. Good. We're hopeful. We're hopeful. Project 2's release rate and how fast we're going through that. Now, currently, I got John. He's working Filipino. He's working on Dust and Air briefly to help on that, and then he'll go shift right back into Project 2 and various odd jobs. We got a lot of work set aside for him, so it's not like he's going to be without work during the next year or so. So it's going to be one of those things where it's like he'll be bouncing back and forth. And actually, I might as well kind of show you something of his style. Now, this was one thing that we can't quite use it on Dust and Air because Dust and Air has a different style, but we can use it on Project 2. Project 2 is possible. Work with this. I'm just going to load this up. And I did update my elements. Finally, a new version. But see, his style, he has more of a manga style. He has more of a he has more of this like frame. He can do frames. He can does a more anime style, and that is sort of how he does a lot of his work. And this we could not do this as well for Dust and Air because we've already adapted a different style, a little bit more Western style. But Project 2, we can do that because we originally put up that we're gonna want more of an anime style in certain things. So this is just a sample image that he did. This is actually a final asset for Project 2. It does do a little bit of a teaser, but most people aren't going to figure it out unless you are aware of what the story is about. And if you are, because it hasn't been really talked about yet. So just enjoy that as a little advanced teaser. And while I'm at it, I want to share this from Georgie. This is the background image behind me, and also this is in the blog. Now, why I want to bring up this image is important because this is not done by Khan. This is done by Georgie, and this is something that he is I don't know if he's never attempted it, but when we always approached like the very big, expansive backgrounds, he was always kind of like, "Oh, Khan can do that," or more. It wasn't something that he was commonly known for doing, so this was kind of a step aside moment and try something new. And this is actually an image that you will see in Raven's Prayer at one point in the story. We're teasing it now just because we think Georgie did an awesome job. He captured the idea of your big cityscape, expansive image. He got the light blue man right. I mean, he took the idea from concept and really ran with it, and turned out a very nice image. Now, he also did it in such a way that we can use the airship frame here, and we can do different backgrounds as we go. So that was another thing. I didn't even have to really mention it. I kind of thought about it, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I was already thinking about doing that." So he had a good time with that, and it is gonna possibly raise the question in the days ahead about how much more Georgie can possibly draw. Maybe he'll do some more images like this future in the days ahead. We'll see on that. So, uh, lastly, we wrap up the year. Dust and Air sold probably around it was over 100 copies total in the year, and that's not a major milestone to a lot of people. You think that these game companies they sell thousands, thousands, thousands. Well, it comes down to do you get noticed? Do you get recognized? Do you get publications covering you? And that's how people find you. And this is actually mostly word of mouth and just Steam sales stuff that happens to come up. People see us and take interest in us. That's mostly because they haven't really budgeted too much for advertising and a lot of that other stuff because we're still building assets and get that out there. That is something that we have been trying to do on the side. I have been talking to a lot of people, discussing things. I had a contact that wanted a bunch of old Apple software that my dad had from when he taught elementary school, from old Apple IIe stuff. They were doing a museum for old Apple IIe things. Okay, you guys can have it for free. I mean, the only thing I'd like is introduce me to somebody in the industry, in publication or something. I mean, you're obviously a museum. You have to know people, and I never heard back. So maybe it was a scammer or something. I don't know. If they're looking to just sell the old titles, make money off of it, they never got back to me. So okay, well, I will keep on looking, but yeah, I'm trying to keep on finding little inroads for Dust and Air and Project 2 and everything we're doing. On top of that, we haven't done an update on the decals and how they've been doing. And yeah, they've had at least a good solid year, maybe two, since we did our last update on them. And Gwen, of course, is still number one. She hasn't been overtaken, not by a long shot. But we had Nakiri. She's actually caught up quite a bit. She's overtaken a whole bunch of people. People are liking her image, even though we don't have like a major character model for her. But yeah, I think it's just they like her. They like the colors. They like the style of the image that Khan did for that. So that's turned out really well. And then we have Kali. She's number 3. And goes down. Abigail is unfortunately the last place. I don't know if nobody likes her or it's just that they don't like the color pattern on her decals. But that is to be expected. And Guns of Icarus is still going. I mean, we're always grateful for Muse for this opportunity to bring their universe alive in our own way and make a visual novel that kind of expands the world of it. Even though it seems like they're moving on a lot more to other things. It doesn't seem like they're going to revisit Guns of Icarus anytime soon. They still keep it operating. So that's the plus side on that. I did hop on and do a few games here and there during 2022, and it seems like if you were not on during the big streams and during the big contest hours, there's not a lot of people on anymore. There's a few. I did have at least one crew for some co-op mode stuff, but doing PvP. Unfortunately, that's just what happens in games. They get forgotten. And There's just a lot of reasons I could go into hours upon why this has happened to Guns of Icarus, and I have many times before because I was one of the big critics. But unfortunately, I'm not going to do that now. Actually, fortunately for you, you're probably like, oh yeah, I don't want to hear the rant. So, anyways, that is about it. 2023, we're just going to see how things go. There's a lot of things that are pending on Strikeworks, on how Tierno was updated, and quite a few other aspects that are coming. The Mac port is also on the horizon, which is why we kind of included the one big image from Georgie. It's kind of it's an image for 2023. It's showing that we have a lot of light on the horizon. There's a lot of positive things. We're picking up some steam. It's very much due. We got new artists on the team, and things are moving. Things are moving forward. We're really grateful. So, thanks for joining us on this journey in 2022, and I look forward to you continuing with us in 2023. Thanks a lot. See you in the skies. Jenny.